Can you hear me now? I've never heard of an emoji movie. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. It's a good movie. An emoji movie? I can't imagine an emoji movie is a good movie. Now I'm trying to figure out how to allow people to join this. Come on, man. It's boring. Well, I'm having a I'm trying to figure out how to have conversations using Google Hangouts on this YouTube. And so that's why it's a little boring. It's because I don't know how to do this. On normal Google Hangouts, there's a button that you can join. You can click on saying to add people. Forum. Video embed YouTube page. Hey, Dano, are you online? You can click on the comments there. Unbelievable. Screaming sounds. I hope not. Yeah, hey Bob, how you doing? Uh, yeah, unfortunately, I found out the same thing. Is eating the only way to maintain your weight is to eliminate eating. Yeah, let me change chairs. This chair squeaks. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out how to do a Google Hangout so I can have people join this discussion live instead of doing um, 205 to 191 in 5 days. That's a lot. Because I mean, if you calculate that, that's mostly water, Bob, which will be gained back when you start. Because if you calculate what your metabolism is, it's roughly, I think, 3,500 calories for a pound. And I can guarantee that you probably don't burn 3,500 calories in a day. So 5 days, would be less than 5 pounds of real weight. I looked online and I didn't see one. I'm sure there is, Ian, but I probably should have looked before I got on. Oh, Dan, you're online? Okay, good. All right, let me see if I can figure out how to. Yeah, I'm just going to call somebody real quick. Yeah, I apologize that I didn't have this ready. But it's been one of these days. I've been scrambling to get ready, and I'm not even really ready. So yeah, I'm going down to have dinner with one of my reps today, and down in the Massachusetts area, and then from there I'm going to head over to the Buffalo area and get the cold territories out of the way first, and then from the Buffalo area I'm going to head down towards Pittsburgh, and there's a house called Falling Waters, which is one of the Frank Lloyd Wright houses, and it's so I'm going down to tour that. I've never been there, and uh, it sounds like a if you look online for Falling Water, then excuse me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Hopefully he'll answer. I'm calling the maestro because I've live streamed with him on his channel before, and he sent a link to me on Google Hangouts. And so I don't see any way on this screen that says that I can copy a link. It's not intuitive. Manage moderators. What is WIW? Pop out chat participants. I just sent him a message because I got his voicemail. Um, let's see here. Yeah, so from Pittsburgh, I'm going to go down to through West Virginia to Virginia, and then from there, I've got to make a decision whether to go inland or towards the coast, because I'm going to do a loop. So it depends which way I'm going to go. Either I'll go inland and come back along the coast, or I'll go along the coast and come back inland. I'm leaning towards going towards Nashville first, before it gets too cold down there. I was looking at the weather in Nashville, and it's actually 58 degrees or 48 degrees, which sounds pretty cold for Tennessee. So let me just see if I missed anything. What I do for a living, that's too long to get into, Bob. It's I have a couple different businesses. The one I'm at right now, it's a manufacturing company. I make a bunch of different electrical and lighting type products. But I have other businesses I'm starting and have going, and so it's a long story. And to be quite honest with you, I used to love working 100 hours a week. That's all I used to do for many years, and um, now with time getting shorter, I tend to put my time into other things. I still work a lot, but I try to, like for example, I came back from China at the end of September, and I've been in New Hampshire the last couple months, and I mean I'm just itching to go. It just for whatever reason I just can't stay in one place anymore. I have to keep moving, and I just started thinking to myself, I'm wasting my life just staying in one place working, and you make money, etc. Money unfortunately becomes the love of money becomes the root of all evil, as they say. And that's what I've tried to do is I've tried to cut down my expenditures so that I don't have to do anything for money because my expenditures are so low that if I don't have $10,000 a month in bills coming in, then I don't have to work super hard to get those bills paid, right? If I can get my expenses down to, pick a number, whatever number is, if I could get it down to zero, then that would be ideal. That's unrealistic, but it's possible. Dan, are you online? If you're online, just type in the live chat there so I'll know you're online. And I'm going to figure out how to send you a link. Because if you can't type in there, then you're not going to be able to click on the link when I finally figure this out. I hope you travel before my age because I'm 50 years old. You don't want to wait till you're 50 years old. I have been working. I I don't remember a time in my life when I wasn't working. I was working when I was 7 years old, and my parents instilled in me a very strong work ethic. Both of my parents grew up during the Depression, and back during the Great Depression, everything was valuable because people didn't have anything. Today, people have no concept about how difficult life was back then. And it's something that I've had drilled into. Um, Dan, you need to log into a YouTube account if you want to participate. You can view it as just but if you want to participate in the chat, you have to sign in under a name. So I'm sure you have a Gmail name that you can log into. But what I was saying is so what the heck was I saying? Oh yeah, so my parents, God bless them, they instilled in me a very strong work ethic, and so I've always had a very healthy respect for saving and for maintaining my expenses. You know, my parents raised me on the following: when you want to buy something, you have to ask yourself, do I want it or do I need it? because there are so many things in life that we want, but do we really need it? And that's the difference between whether you have money or you don't have money. The people who have money typically drive their cars for 20 years. They live in an undersized house. They use the same, they don't go out and buy a new computer or a new cell phone every year. They're very thrifty, because what they do is when they go to buy something, they're like, well, do I really need that? And if you don't need it, you don't spend your money on it. And the other thing you do is you always pay yourself. So you never go into debt. So if there is something that you want to buy and you don't have the money for it, you pay yourself, right? So let's say you want to buy a couch that's $3,000. Very expensive couch, right? But maybe that's the one that you're going to buy, this one, or a car. Then make sure that you put enough money away that you're not going to debt, because debt is how you get into trouble in life. It puts a lot of strain on you. And I've read online that, I forget the percentage, but the amount of debt that Americans have now is astronomical. And that's why, Dan, can you hear me talking to you? Sorry, I'm getting text messages here as well. Yeah. So I explained on how to join it. Hey, all right, there we go. Let's see if I can figure out, guys, I'm going to just take a minute here and see if I can figure out how to do this live stream. There we go. I think I've got it. Okay. Hey, anybody who wants to join the conversation, you can click that link, I believe. We can try it. Dano, there's the link. Yeah, Dan has been a friend of mine for a long time. Hey, Trish. And welcome, everybody. Yeah, Dan's been a friend of mine for a long time. I don't even know how many years. Probably 30 years. Wow, that's fantastic, Bob. See, that's the advantage of Missouri, I think. Things are a little bit more affordable. You get out to like the Northeast or California or along the coast. Oh, thanks. I got the haircut yesterday in preparation for my trip. Dan, click on that link. Right. Yeah, you're probably 12 or 13 hours ahead, Dan. Yeah, that's the way to do it, Bob. And you're 61 now, so you can attest from 42 to 61. You can attest to how quickly the years go by, right? I mean, it's probably, you look back and in some ways it's like, wow, where'd the time go? And from 61 to 81, I mean, I'm sure you feel the difference. I mean, in many ways, 42 is a lot easier than 62. I can tell you at 50 now, like when I climbed the Great Wall, yeah, when I climbed the Great Wall for the next week, I was like handyman. It was painful. Just after I just did my first live stream on Thanksgiving, and we were dancing around the fire for like 3 hours, and the next day, I thought I needed a hospital. I didn't take any aspirin, but it felt it. It was Quite painful. It's not working, Dan? Damn it. Well, it's saying invite people. Hey, Dan, text me your email address, and I'll, well, hold on. Let me see. Let's, well, we'll try it again. That one work? Yeah. Yeah, well, Bob, when I think end of 2014, I was doing pull-ups, and I ripped both my biceps, one worse than the other. And I could not use, well, thanks, Bob. Thanks for joining. And I'm sorry I couldn't get this going. Hasta luego. I'll be back. Yeah, it's okay to speak British. That link didn't work, Dan? Huh. Very interesting. Yeah. Well, Dano, if I can't get you on the, yeah, it's, but if, what should happen is when you click on that link, it should call up a Google Hangout window. Let me try this other computer and see if it will work for me here. I'm going to try that. You getting an error message? I must be doing something wrong, but it's the link that they're giving me. Invite people. It says to copy the link. Well, maybe it's in my settings. Well, sorry about that, Dano. I'm not going to be able to figure it out, I guess, because what I think is the link isn't working. Hey, Dano, what's your email? Hey, Ian, I sent you an invitation. I don't know how it comes to you. I don't know if it comes to your email or if it comes to your screen. This is unbelievable. Hey, it worked. How you doing, buddy? Excellent. I don't know why those links weren't working.
I don't know what just happened to Dan, but mine is just walking here. Why don't you just ask Dan for his email and then invite him?
Well,
because that's gonna.
So let me ask you a question. How did you get the link? How did it arrive to you? Was it in your email or did it come to you over that broadcast?
Well, actually, when you invited me with Gmail, and then I joined you. You actually invited me, and then I opened up my Gmail and then clicked on join button, and then it automatically came out.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Maybe it's gonna be working with Dan.
All right. I'm gonna
you
send
guys
it.
Dan. Yeah.
Dan, if you're listening to Ian there, and I'm gonna send you an email link. So go to your email, Dan. I'm sending it right now.
Yeah,
okay.
Dan.
Invitation posted.
Why not?
So tell me a little bit about you, Ian Dregfield.
Oh, you actually know my name.
Well, that's the one. That's the one you use, right?
I'm 12 years old. I'm actually 12 years old and study at 7th grade.
You're only 12. You're only 12 years old.
Yeah, actually I am 12 years old, and
well,
I've been
very
using
big for 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very mature.
Well, kinda actually. I like to be like this. I cut my hair like I cut my hair like this, and I also talk in British. That's all.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you saw my little niece who was saying hello to you on the last stream hangout. She's 15. I thought you were her age.
Yeah, I was a little bit hurried because I had a little bit study to do, and I had to close my phone. That's all.
Yeah, what time is it?
Hey, I want to ask you a question.
What time is it there now? Are you 12 hours ahead? What is it, 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock at night now? 11:19?
Well, it's 10:19 here.
10.
It's 10:19 p.m.
All right, so you're 11 hours ahead. Okay. Because Trish was asking why there's no school. I knew that it was nighttime. I just wasn't sure if it was 10, 11, or midnight. Do your parents tell you can only stay up until like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock?
Well, they actually tell me to sleep at 9, but I actually don't like to sleep at that time. So I do sleep at 10, and sometimes if I do need to wake up, if I do need to sleep later, I sometimes sleep at 11. But I don't actually sleep at late night because I think it's not good for me. I kind of like to wake up at, early in the morning, and then I do some workouts I'm not actually good at workouts, but yeah, I kind of made some muscles and stuff.
So do you go to school 5 days a week, 6 days a week? Do you go to a school or are you homeschooled?
I actually do have a school, but I I actually don't go every day. Yeah,
Okay.
school is not always actually needed. You see, I'm actually aiming at learning British, and in my school they don't actually teach British. They talk in Indian language, which is why I don't like school pretty much. I don't even like my teachers because they always try to teach me Indian English, and people bully me because I talk in British, and that's a giant problem for me. So I only learn British in here because I like British, and my teachers are just not like me. They don't like British. That's my problem.
Yeah, how long ago? I don't remember the history of Bangladesh, but it used to be part of India until when? Like the 50s?
We were Well, it's about 43 years ago.
Oh, 43.
There was only one giant country named India,
Right.
but then on 1947, it got divided into three countries. Well, one is Pakistan, the
Pakistan, yeah.
terrorist country. Yeah, another one is India, and another one is Bangladesh in
Right.
east side. And I'm from Bangladesh actually.
Right.
India is almost near to my country, but it's kind of a little different at culture and stuff. We don't actually talk like them, or even our culture is kind of different. Our religion is also kind of different. We're just like Pakistan a little bit, but we're not terrorists actually.
Well,
See,
Pakistan
there
is
are lots of
yeah, Pakistan's a Muslim country.
yeah.
Bangladesh is a Muslim country?
No, actually they aren't actually like that. Actually, Bangladeshis aren't terrorists. Also, they
Well, you said
no,
you're
they work with 18 countries. I can't hear you.
a Buddhist. Are you a
Just
Buddhist?
some, what did you say?
Uh, I thought that you practice Buddhism.
No,
Oh, okay,
not
because you
really.
wanted me to get the big Buddha for you.
Mm, yeah, kind of. There might be some internet problems. That's why my screen is kind of lagging here.
Okay,
I don't know.
that's no problem.
Is Dan right here?
Is what?
I'm talking about Dan. Is he here or what?
I don't know. Dan, what are you doing? Did you get the link in your email?
No, I guess Dan didn't actually want to join us. Perhaps he's in some kind of problem.
Maybe. Well, he's a network engineer, so he should be able to figure it out.
Well, you see, some engineers aren't actually good at things like this because I myself isn't an engineer, but I know how to work on games. I made
Yeah,
a
you
game,
certainly
but
do.
actually wholly publish it, I needed $500, and I didn't want to spend all this, so I canceled making a game. I
Well,
think making a game is not a big deal,
doing what?
but it has to be nice. And I was talking about a game.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, so I don't want to make a game, but I'm good at this stuff like some Unreal Engine and stuff like that. I'm gonna become a engineer like that. Well, then I don't know about Dan, but he seems not to be an expert at network engineering. If he was, he'd join us.
Well, good question. I don't know. I don't even know if he's still on the line, because when I clicked off, maybe he clicked off as well.
any problem or kind of internet connection problem.
Yeah.
Well, are we live at YouTube?
So what do your parents do in Bangladesh?
My parents. Well, talking about my parents, my mom is a great teacher. Actually, she's, you know, a school owner.
Oh, so is that how you learned English?
Not really, because in Bangladesh they use Indian English, and I freaking hate that because I think it only disrespects English if you actually talk in Indian English. So I learned it myself. I had to work a lot for British English. Sometimes I had bad comments. They said you suck in English, you fucking suck,
The
you
one that I'm
fucking
in?
faggot and stuff. They said all kind of stuff, but I kept it up, and at the end of the day, I actually learned British, and that's how I learned it.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, you're talking to Danny. I hope Danny comes not. I hope Danny comes right now.
Well, it's just sorry, Ian. I've got Brian on the phone, and he's walking me through how to send another link. Sorry about
Oh
that.
wow.
Yeah, inside the actual window where I'm communicating with people now, because the way it did work when I sent them an email, but it didn't work when I clicked on invite and copied that link.
You can tell him to, give his email, then invite him, and then
thank you.
and
Yeah,
then
I'm
he's
getting on the road
join
today, so I'm just doing my Bon Voyage live stream here. All right, thanks, buddy. See ya. Bye now. Okay. All right. We'll see if that link works there as well.
Yeah, I guess.
So, Ian, can you tell me again what you were saying? I apologize. What you were saying about your mom and then.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's a school owner, and some people. Wow. I didn't learn anything from those kind of schools. Actually, I learned everything myself.
Wow.
And I kind of like, computer stuff like programming and stuff. I learned all of this myself. And I'm kind of bad in English, but I'm going to just master it pretty fast. I'm aiming to learn it in 2
Your
years.
English is very good.
Oh, well, thank you. But some people don't say that. That's my problem here.
What language do you speak at home? Do you speak a local dialect at home?
You mean local language?
Yeah. What do you speak to, like, people in your city or at your house? What do you use to communicate? Do you talk in English or another language?
Yeah, our language is called Bangla. You can search on the internet. Well, you see, Bangla is kind of like India, but it's a little bit different in speaking. And actually, it's easy for Bangladeshis to learn English because their Bangla speaking is kind of similar to English, which is why it's kind of not too hard. And sometimes Bangla does sound like Chinese, but the words are a little bit different.
Wow. Well, learning Chinese for you would not be a bad thing because you're so close to them.
Yeah, kind of. I know one word in China. It is Xiao. Am I speaking the right way? Xiao.
Yao? That means Yao means want.
Yeah. Dude, I kind of have to go right now because my parents telling me to cut the call and go to sleep.
Well, thank you for joining.
So perhaps I gotta go right now.
Thank you. Have a great day. All right, take care.
Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, everybody. Well, I posted the link I got a call from Brian, the maestro, and he told me, Trish, just click on that link, that last link right above your last message. Click on that one. Does that work? Yeah, these things are not always as easy as you'd like them to be. Yeah, I still haven't completely packed. On a trip like this, the real nice thing about traveling in the United States is that it is much simpler to travel, because if I need anything, I just stop at one of the million malls or strip malls or Walmarts and buy what I need. Now, I prefer not to do that. I prefer to bring whatever I need. But for example, like this morning, I went into the drawer where I had my inverter that I put in my car and it's not there, and I don't know if somebody took it out and used it. So if I need an inverter, it looks like I'll have to buy an inverter. But as far as clothes, I typically bring enough clothes for about a week, and then do laundry along the way. And if I'm not staying with friends or family, then I'll sleep in the car when I need to take a nap. And that's something I've got to do is I used to have a mattress that I'd put in the back, and when I moved, I ended up throwing all that stuff out because I just didn't have the space to store it. And so now I bought some of the eggshell foam, and I'm going to use that with a sleeping bag, and that should be fine, even though tonight I'll be sleeping in northern New York in my car, so that's going to get a little chilly. So I need to just make sure that it's warm enough. Dan, are you there? I'm going to try calling you, Dan. No problem, Trish. That's funny that they need to verify it, that if you're already on Google. Hey, Dano, I tried calling to walk you through it there, but according to Brian, that link should work instead of me having to email that last link. I'll post it again here. What's strange is in the Google Hangouts, up at the top, there's a bar that says invite people, and they say that you can share the link, or you can send email, and that worked because I sent him the interesting. Yeah, so it's starting to get. I'm in New Hampshire right now, and it's starting to get pretty chilly. It was down in the low teens last night, according to my thermometer, and that's when ice starts to form on windows and on your car, and and it would snow if there was precipitation. So this is not, I don't mind a little bit of cold weather, but I enjoy getting outside and walking and being active. And when you go outside, you have to put on about 5 different layers. And that's not what I consider enjoyable. Now, if you're skiing or snowmobiling or doing something like that, then I suppose it might be worth it. But just walking around to the post office or just out for a walk, enjoying the day, that's not how I'd prefer. I'd rather be in shorts and a t-shirt than in 3 coats and a sweatshirt. So, but I do have, the good thing about the cold weather is I do, it's the only time, this is the hoodie that I bought in Mexico, and gives me an opportunity to use this bad boy. So when it's a little chilly, I'll wear this, and it's extremely comfortable and very warm. I also have a couple leather coats that I bought on my travels. I bought one and had one made in China, which is a shorter coat, a leather jacket, and then I have a long leather jacket that is I bought in San Francisco. Here, I'll get that. Wait till you see this. This is awesome. Look at this jacket. This is incredible. Weighs about probably 8 pounds. I bought this in Chinatown in San Francisco. I paid, I think, probably, well, I don't remember. It was more than I wanted to pay. I think it was 180 bucks, 200 bucks. This was 20 years ago. But you can see it's been through the ringer. It's gone around the world with me a couple times. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't treat things real kindly. I tend to beat things up. And I have a camera, a Nikon camera, that I used. This is my 3rd Nikon camera. This is dead. I killed this on the Great Wall. I don't know what happened to it. It just won't operate. One of 2 things. Either I was sweating so much that sweat got in this thing and killed it, or I must have crushed it when I fell asleep because I had it on my, around my person. And when I rolled over in my sleeping bag, maybe I crushed it. I just don't know. But it's not dead. But the reason I like this camera is because it has, for batteries, it allows AA batteries. And so I would be, in the middle of China, and if you have a phone that requires a charger or a camera that requires charging, you're, out of luck. Whereas this, I just pop out batteries, put in new batteries, and the same thing with a SIM card. You can just pop in a new SIM card if you run out, or just use an oversized SIM card. But the design on this, it basically protracts out the lens, and this has gotten damaged on the last 2. But I went with it because I do like the camera. But this is only 720 resolution. It doesn't have 1080 DPI. And so I did not replace this camera with another one. In fact, I got this cell phone in China, and this actually has 1080. It's a very good phone, but I ended up damaging this in China, and they had to replace the screen. And I think what happens now is it's kind of shaky. And so I am in the market for another camera, but as I was explaining to Ian, it comes down to a question of wants and needs. I don't absolutely need to have it because I have my GoPro here. And so I'll use the GoPro on the trip and my camera on the cell phone. I am looking at the Sony AX53, which is a handy cam. camcorder, but it has some negatives. And if I did buy another camera, I'd want something that was good in low light. And that's something that I have not found yet, is a camera that will shoot under all circumstances. That's, yeah, I don't want to spend $2,000, $3,000 for a camera, because as I was saying, I destroy things. It's because, you know, I carry one backpack and I go. Trish, you're online? Dan, you can click on that link. Look at the last link I sent, the Hangouts link. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? I think I have sound on. Yeah, this says I'm on. I don't know why you can't hear me if you can't. Here's the link that you can use to join the conversation according to Brian, instead of sending a link by email. But I don't know if anybody saw that conversation with Ian. He's only 12 years old, and he taught himself. You go to his channel, I mean, he seems like a young kid because he likes to play games, but I thought he was a 15, 16 in that age. But he's able to figure out the games and networking and do, you know, he learned English by himself. Incredible. And that's the difference that I see around the world, is you don't see a lot of kids like that in the United States, because everything here is taught and fed. You don't see, at least I don't see, a lot of kids like that. I'm sure they're here, but they don't seem to be. Oh, Trish, it says you joined the group.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, Trish.
Good morning.
What link did you use to get onto this? Was it the one I sent to my email, or was it the one I included in the group chat?
Just this recent one that you sent out.
Oh, good. Okay, so Brian's right. So that does work.
Yes, it worked.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I tried it. Yeah.
I had to move to a new computer because I wasn't on the Google.
Yep. Well, maybe that's why Dan's having a problem, because he's on Yahoo.
Yes, you have to be on Google.
Yeah. You have to be logged into Google, or you just have to be on a Google email?
You just have to be on the, open up Google Chrome and then go on that way.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. As your browser. Explorer won't do it?
Nope.
Really? Interesting.
Well, that's how I got on. I went ahead and I went to Chrome Google. I put in YouTube. I pulled you back up. Okay. And then you put a new link in, and I clicked on that, and I was able to connect.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dan, try that. If you can hear me, go to Chrome. So where are you from, Trish? You're in which are you?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida.
Yes.
Well, so you live right near Brian, kind of, sort of.
Well, I'm central. I am west.
Oh, so you're over near Tampa?
No, I'm in the Panhandle.
Oh, over near Pensacola.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll be coming down that way. Yeah, cool.
Really?
Yeah, well, my nephew goes to school in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something I'll decide on the trip. But when I get down to where I go, either towards Tennessee or towards North Carolina, I've got to make a decision. And I'm thinking about going inland towards Nashville, and then either going down to see him or going to Memphis, because I've been to Memphis and I've been to Nashville, but only for work. And I was there, did what I had to do, and I left. So I didn't have a chance to explore the places. So that's one thing I want to do on this trip. And
Oh,
the
looks like Dan joined.
Oh, Dan, you figured it out. Hey, Dan.
It only took me forever.
Hey, it's okay.
No, I was multitasking as usual. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was following Google's instructions here. It said it has at the top it says invite people. So I was trying to send that link and it was not working.
This is cool. This is cool. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is a lot easier than Skype because with this, it does it automatically and it allows, I think, up to 8 people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Up to 8 people. Trish, this is my friend Dan. This is
Hi, Dan.
Yeah, I met Trish online. Both of us subscribed to a guy named Brian. Is that right, Trish? Is that where we met?
Yes.
Yep, and he's a real nice guy. Although, did you see that session last night?
No.
Well, he has that guy Tacos on a lot, and he seems like a nice guy, but he's just a little bit too crazy for me.
Well, I take that back. I did pull him up because he came up live, and as soon as I clicked on it and that taco guy was going off, I immediately shut it down because I can't stand him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, he started playing a guitar and singing, and I'm like, what's going on here? I mean, I'm losing, And so I was working on. Yeah, he was like, him and Brian both have it against Bitcoin now. Dan, are you familiar with Bitcoin?
Dave, I've been all over it, my friend, for months.
Have you?
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, I own a Bitcoin wallet.
Good. I told you about that when you were living with me.
And, I'm on Coinbase.
Right. That's the easy one. The only bad thing is Coinbase takes like a pound of flesh.
Yes.
Well, let me put it this way. To set up Coinbase and set up the Bitcoin wallet, to be honest with you, it's not for the faint-hearted at all. It's kind of rigorous. God Almighty, I don't know how I figured it out. If you really want the truth, I mean,
well, Coinbase is easy, but the other cryptos, the other ones where you have to download a different wallet for all these new, I don't even want to mess with that.
I haven't even. Yeah, I haven't figured out the other ones, but just so in case you guys want to know, I mean, Fidelity has 2 funds right now that you can invest in. One of them's for pennies on the dollar right now, which is going to go to dollars soon, in my opinion. Bitcoin Services Fund. You need to invest in that like right away. Just if you got $500 or $1,000 sitting around, dump it in. Worst case, you lose $1,000. I don't think you're going to lose.
Well, that's the way I look at it, Dan. Is you have to speculate on these things when they come along.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Dan,
Go ahead, Trish, sorry.
I wouldn't go through Fidelity. I would do it yourself.
Ways. I'm doing it both ways. Yeah, I mean, there's 2 funds right now. I'm just saying, even if you got a retirement account, an IRA or 401k, you can buy the shares right now. And like I said, one of them is pennies on the dollar. It's going to go to dollars soon, in my opinion.
Is it? So it's a mutual fund, the Fidelity one?
No, well, it's not Fidelity's fund. They just give you access to buy it. It's called Bitcoin Services, and what they do is they invest not in only Bitcoin, but dozens of other cryptocurrencies that you wouldn't have access to. So it gives you exposure to a bunch of them. The main staple, Bitcoin, right? Well, so I guess it's kind of like a mutual fund of cryptos in a way.
Well, you know what I noticed is the now I'm coming in double, so I'm gonna have to. No, the sound. I don't know if you're hearing me twice.
You're as ugly as you've ever been, so don't worry about it.
So anyways, what I was going to say is there's a website that tracks all the cryptos, and I've noticed that it's gone from 150 billion up to almost 300 billion in like the last couple months. The money
Are you talking about coin market?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. The money's coming
Yep.
into the space. And so
Yes.
that's going to, on something like what Dan's describing, with all that money coming in, it's going to raise the entire level of the waters. So you'll make money in those.
You got it, bro.
You need to open up your My Ether wallet. You have to do that. Even if you're new at this, and I'm new at this, and I have 3 of them.
Excellent.
How is the Ether wallet different from, is that for Ethereum?
Yes.
Yeah, and is that
Well, you
different
can
from
buy.
Coinbase?
You can
Well,
transfer.
no, on Coinbase. Yeah, I was going to say, guys, on Coinbase, I want to be clear. Coinbase, which I'm on, you have access to Bitcoin, classic Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. You can buy those 3.
Yes, but if you're on My Ether wallet,
Mhm.
you can buy all the tokens that are coming out if you so choose.
Okay. Oh, you mean all the cryptos, all the various cryptos?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
That's
From
how
one,
I made.
from one wallet, Trish?
Well, I have 3 My Ether wallets. I opened up 3 because I didn't want to put everything in one wallet.
And is this something that you store in a hard drive offline, or do you keep it online?
I have it both ways. It's offline, and I have it online when I'm online.
And where did you download this wallet, this Ether wallet you're talking about?
You just go to My Ether wallet, sign up for it. It's just like Coin Market.
MyEtherWallet.com, you said?
Yes.
I've heard of it. I haven't had a chance to do it. I need to do it too.
Yes, that's where I was able to get in on all these ICOs that came out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Referring to
That's
us.
that's where you want to be, is to get in on the ICOs. I was looking at that a day or 2 ago, and to your point, Trish, a lot of them are going to go nowhere,
Right.
but some of them are going to go to the moon, though.
I know.
Right? And so,
Veritasium, I'm hoping goes
Yeah.
to the moon because I've got quite a bit of.
well, exactly. It's just a matter of doing your research, doing your homework, and choosing the right ones. But hey,
Sure.
some of these, I don't need to tell you, Trish, you only got to throw 10, 20, 30 bucks into them. And you can buy hundreds of shares right now. And, worst case, you lose 20, 30, 50 bucks. Big deal,
Exactly.
but it's still worth it, right?
Okay, now
So
I have to admit this though. First, I'm a firm believer in holding PMs.
And holding what?
Precious metals.
yeah.
Well,
Like,
you can see that they're shaking out people now, Trish. People are it's one of the things you hear, that when the bottom of the market hears is when everybody hates it. And it sounds like everybody's hating precious metals except almost the people who will never shake. But you see people giving up on them and going into cryptos now.
Well, I will never give up my precious metals because they're my value to store my wealth in.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have those because I own them, I hold them, and I know where they're at.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, look, gold.
What percentage of people's cash positions do you think they should have? I mean, obviously you can't have 100% because you have to buy, milk and gas, that thing. But I think that's why some people are starting to suffer. I think people put too much of their liquid position in precious metals and they're panicking.
Now, see, I didn't do that. I've been buying precious metals for years and just adding when I could, because there's no way I could buy bulk. But I'm at the
Agreed.
position now where I have enough precious metals to where I can put extra money now into the cryptos,
So,
which was a
good
really good thing
Yeah.
because I made a ton of money.
That's good. That's smart. So, how do you own these, Trish? Do you own the precious metal through your IRA, or how do you do it?
No, I went ahead and deleted.
You always want to hold it.
Yes, I got out of all my IRAs, everything. I paid the penalty, I paid the taxes, and I bought precious metals throughout the years with it. Because, I didn't buy it all at once. I wanted to, what do you call that? Cost average?
Yep.
The precious metals. because sometimes they're high, sometimes they're low.
Mhm.
So that's how I did the precious metals. And then I got to a safe point where I felt, okay, I think I have plenty of precious metals. Now I can invest in the cryptos.
Right. Well, that's another thing, is how much is enough, right? You know, that depends on the person. For some people,
Right.
maybe it's 100, maybe it's 1,000 ounces.
Yeah, you definitely you have to decide on yourself what you feel
It's a comfort
comfortable with.
level.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an individual comfort level. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
There's no right or wrong answer, right?
Yeah, especially
Correct.
if you're making, you know, $10,000 a month versus $1,000 a month, it's going to affect what you can buy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, look, here's the bottom line, guys. What you're spelling out is you know, individual, you know, empowerment, right? You know, being responsible for yourself, because
Yes.
if you don't, nobody else will. Because, you know, look at the. I
That's the way
mean,
I look at it, Dano.
yeah,
Is,
look
you
at the
know,
U.S. dollar. They print
the
trillions.
bank's
What
only
do they
paying
do, guys?
1%. You know,
They
you have
print
to take it
trillions.
on yourself.
Yeah. What do they do, guys? They print. The central government prints new dollars every year, and what does it do? It devalues your dollar over time. So just having it sit in an account, if you don't have any strategy to make that money grow, you're losing money day by day
Right.
in purchasing power, right?
Yes.
So this is why people have to get educated on finances. And oh, by the way, in America, in my humble opinion, what do? We do a crummy job teaching children about finances.
Yes.
We don't even teach it in school. You know, that you go to college, get a 4-year degree, but you know, but you don't know the basics of the different investments and stuff that's out there. You know, or if you've got a finance degree, they teach you, you know, things like puts and calls, which, you know, you can make some money on that stuff too. But you know, you really got to know what you're doing. But the average person, you know, they're going to have a savings account, they're going to have a mortgage, you know, they're going to have to get involved with some investing and stuff. They really don't teach it. Kids don't know about money by the time they're 20. They have 3 credit cards with, you know, 10 grand in debt, and they're wondering how they got there.
Right. That's
Right?
the worst thing you can do is have credit card debt.
Yeah, you're truly a slave at that point, right? Because
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
and if it's a $5,000, once it hits 5, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, $20 a day in interest, literally, right?
What do you think about some people calling cryptos as being the mark of the beast?
Who-
Jeez. Well,
Well, Maestro
wow.
and Tacos, they're going off on Bitcoin as being evil.
you know,
Well,
I have to agree.
not in and of itself.
You-
No, I don't think in and of itself. I mean, everything's going to go electronic. But you know, to your point though, Dave, once everything, you can't get to the mark of the beast until everything is electronic, and that's where we're headed. So
Yes.
this in a way, in and of itself, it's not evil, but you, as usual, when man is in the mix, right? Mankind, when man is in the mix, without God, and he pushes God aside, then you've got the workings of not good stuff that's coming, and it lays the groundwork for what you just said, Dave. Potentially, not potentially, it is laying the groundwork ultimately. It is.
You're correct.
Because before you can get to the mark of the beast, you've got to have everything electronic. Once you have everything electronic, like we've been doing the last 20, 30, 40 years with credit cards and everything else, well, then you can monitor and you can control people to the nth degree with technology, which we couldn't do before. But now we're on the cusp of being able to do it.
Right. Cashless
Right?
society.
Yeah. But also, that's the means for the man, whoever you wanted to describe the man as, the top 1% that control us all, to do just that. So, you know, you might think I'm out there, Trish, but sorry.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they keep us in check.
Of course.
And, you know, yeah. And, you know, some people would call me whatever, paranoid, conspiracy, whatever. But if you step back and you try to look at the picture objectively as to what's going on.
Right.
That's how the rich stay on top. How do you think they stay on top, right?
Right.
By feeding us breadcrumbs.
That's right.
By feeding the ignorant breadcrumbs in us being fat, dumb, and happy.
Well, and this is the reason why everybody, any normal individual should be into cryptos right now. Make as much as you can, pull it out, invest in precious metals, invest in your home so you're paid off, don't owe anything, get out of debt, and you'll be fine. Why can't you be part of the 1%?
Yeah, well, you know, if you have some education and strategy, to your point.
You don't need education. You just need common sense.
Well, when I say education, you're right. And I want to be clear. When I say education, Trish, I mean necessarily formal, got to go to college, whatever. But you're right. Common sense is a better description. But taking the initiative from a common sense standpoint to educate yourself in these areas. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How do you know which of these cryptos to invest in? Because there's thousands of them now.
Well, you go with the top.
Yeah, there are.
What?
Go with the top ones. You have Bitcoin, but it's awfully high, and it's going to come down to 7,000. It's going to come down. But when it hits 7,000 and something, it's going to shoot right back up, and you ain't going to see that number again. So if you want to get into Bitcoin, that's the time to get into it. The next one I would get into is Ether. You need Ether. Ether is gas. No matter what you do
Ethereum?
Yes. They call that gas because if you move your coins from one wallet to another, you need the gas, which is Ether. Ethereum. Okay. The other one is Litecoin. Now, Litecoin is called silver. Bitcoin is called gold. All right, so you need the gold and you need the silver.
Well, I was waiting until Litecoin hit 50 to buy some more, and it got down to, I think, like 55 and shot back up.
Yeah, I went ahead and I bought more for 80. It was like $84, and I paid 42 when I first got into it.
Yeah.
So it hurt paying double, but I know it's going to go 3 digits.
Oh, it's going to go 3 digits. Absolutely. How many, do you mind me asking, Trish, how many of those coins you own?
Which ones?
Litecoin?
I honestly don't know because I don't have it in front of me. I own a lot of coins.
That's great.
Good. No, that's smart. I own all 3. Granted, they're very small amounts, so right now. But I'm trying to buy more over time.
Right. Well, Dan's a multimillionaire, so he can afford them.
I wish, Dave. I wish. Close. Not even close.
Yeah. You will be. Hold on to that 1 Bitcoin.
God willing.
Well, you know, I think if people don't understand something, they're afraid of it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's truth to that. Yeah.
But you need to jump in and get your feet wet.
Yes. There's truth to that.
And that's what I told my family and friends. And Dan, you probably got these emails as well. As I said, take just the amount of money that if you lose it, it's a speculation. It's a gamble.
Right.
And then as you get your feet wet, you can decide whether it's for you or not. It's because the other thing is any good. This is what I wrestle with the ones I own. Is I'm waiting till the new year to make a decision because tax reasons, right? If I wait till January to sell, I don't have to declare it in this year, so I can wait a year. So I push off my taxes. Dan and I have another friend who's a tax lawyer, and he'll always say that's the key to good tax management is you always want to defer, always want to push it out. You want to try to avoid paying it as long as you can. And so by waiting a year, that's a good thing usually. But
the only
what are you in?
Well, the only thing I
don't have any Bitcoin because I just did not want to spend thousands of dollars in a Bitcoin. I bought some Ethereum and I bought some Litecoin. And see, this is what I was wrestling with, is I bought some Ethereum and I sold off half my Ethereum to recover my cost basis.
Right.
And I bought very low on Litecoin, so I didn't do that because my cost basis is so low. So that's why I haven't sold it. But I'm debating, maybe I sell half my Litecoin at the start of the year and at least book it.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, it feels like I've got the money on the roulette wheel on red and be like, double down. It's going to be red again.
Yeah. Litecoin is going to go way up come the first of the year.
Why?
Well,
it's just moving that way.
Yeah, it is. It is. I like alternative to Bitcoin, you know, the silver, you know, hence Litecoin versus Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin's still got a ways to go. I mean, I think Bitcoin eventually, in possibility, Trish, could go 50,000, 100,000 potentially.
Oh,
now,
it's going to go to 1 million. Are you kidding me? It's going to hit 1 million.
It could.
Oh, no, it will. It will, because look at it this way.
I hope it does, because I'm going to own one Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, the good thing about Bitcoin, well, the advantage of Bitcoin is like the Coca-Cola of the cryptos, right? People, it has the name recognition, and that's that's probably what's going to drive it, because number one, I think if people stick to buying whatever Coinbase is selling, that's going to go up because it makes it easy for people to buy.
And it's also easy to buy if you're on My Ether wallet. You can get into the little markets, you know, get those little dollar stocks.
Right.
I agree. I'm a big fan in general. Not everybody agrees, but even with stocks, right?
Yes.
Big fan, because I can load up 10,000 shares, 25, 50, 100,000 shares at a pop. You know, you don't.
Oh, you're talking regular stocks.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, I mean, granted, you got to do it.
No, I wouldn't touch that. I would not touch that. And the reason why, I am totally out of the stock market. My husband had inherited a bunch of GE stocks from his father.
Right.
I had him sell.
Yeah, they took a dip.
I had him sell 75% of them. I took that money and invested in cryptos.
Yeah,
I talked him into dumping the rest of it, and then he went and checked the stock price on them. They went down over $20.
Yeah, he's loving you right now for that decision.
And the stock and what I got had gone up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't touch stocks. I call stocks the cryptos, the little guys. I'm not talking, when I talk about stocks, I'm not talking about, you know, anything to do with somebody else holding my money. Forget it.
Well, no, I mean, no, I hear you. I mean, I'm talking about like getting in and out, that type of thing. I hear you. Not buy and hold, but yeah, you want to control your money. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I agree with you.
I just don't trust stockbrokers. I don't trust people.
Well, unfortunately, you know, in some cases that's not true, but I agree with you. Unfortunately, in most cases, that's a good rule of thumb, unfortunately. Yeah. I can't disagree again.
Well,
you're right.
You almost have to wonder if the stock market, like Amazon, Apple, Facebook,
it's rigged.
Google,
it's rigged.
Are these things rigged? Are the governments going to ever let those things to fall?
No, they can't.
Well, and I hear what you're saying, because whether it's Lynette Zhang or even if it's just a Ponzi scheme in general, once it starts to go backwards, the house of cards falls apart.
Oh, you can kiss everything goodbye then. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. And that's why I'm so big on precious metals, because I know if I lose my cryptos, I'm okay still, because I still have my PMs.
But Trish, I cannot imagine that most Americans are in that boat. I'm sorry, I just can't imagine it. And if you live near a city, I think it gets even worse because, like where I live, I'm in the largest city in New Hampshire, and it's such a poor area. I mean, all the cities in New Hampshire are very poor. A lot of poor people.
Those people don't even know what investing means because they can't afford to. They just got to buy food every day.
Well, they're just trying to survive. Yeah, they're trying to survive.
I
Exactly.
totally understand that.
Yeah. No, you're right, Dave.
Yeah. Well, Trish, are you a religious person?
I am.
You are. So you believe in God?
I do.
You do. Dan, do you believe in God?
Absolutely. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, Trish doesn't know you, so I don't want to speak for you.
Well, I know that. I know that. I'm just saying in general, you know.
Yeah. Dan, are you going to become a reverend?
Well, I would, if it weren't for the rat race, the human rat race where, we got to work every day to make money just to pay bills, basically, right?
Yes.
Well, maybe the
wealthy trying to do, but God knows how or when. Hey, Dave, if I was independently wealthy tomorrow, yeah, I would absolutely quit rat race and
so if God wants you to call and he knows that's a requirement, then maybe your bitcoins will go to 10 million. You'll be independently wealthy.
Well, my point is, if I was tomorrow, I would quit the secular workforce, work for the church full time. I'd probably give right off the bat 10 or 20% would go to the church, and then I'd help family members probably pay off some houses, whatever, pay off mine, and be all set and work for the church. That's what I would do.
There you go.
But
that's awesome.
If Bitcoin goes to 10 million, is it the same argument that people have for why silver can't go to $100 and gold can't go to 10,000?
I don't know, Dave.
Well, what they say is if precious metals get that out of control, then it means that a loaf of bread will be $100.
Right.
Now, I've never subscribed to that because nobody pays attention to precious metals, and just like not many people are paying attention to cryptos. So how is it going to affect the price of eggs? Because a lot of these metals they're having to just what they count.
Well, let me put it this way. What technology in general is doing in this crypto stuff, which is basically electronic currency, and it's going to replace paper. It's just a matter of time.
Yes.
In my humble opinion. And people a lot smarter than me agree with that as well, Dave. That technology is continuing to displace human beings. And what's going to happen is, including the workforce, you're going to see more robotics and AI in the coming future. And what that's going to do, though, is you're going to see a lot of, in a lot of ways, deflation, I think, of prices, right? Because things are going to be that much easier and more efficient and easier and stuff to make. And technology, like in the technology industry, what happens with technology in general, computers and all that stuff, the price goes down over time, right? Because efficiencies and economies of scale, because of the technology and efficiencies,
sure.
Right?
Yeah, look at that. Most of the world uses a cell phone instead of a computer.
That's right. And so but now the flip side of that is that you're going to see in the coming years, particularly I'll just talk the U.S., never mind the world probably, but the U.S. The flip side is whatever, with all this efficiency and greater technology and robotics and AI that's going to keep coming, because it ain't stopping. It's only going to just continue to mushroom and proliferate, is you're going to have millions upon millions of workers. And this is where it gets potentially ugly, even for the government. Millions upon millions of workers displaced on the lower end jobs, the $30, $20 an hour or less lower end service jobs, right? You're not going to see truck drivers in 5 years or less, in my opinion, right?
Because, well, we've talked about this before, Dan, and you know where I think that's going.
So, I don't want to get into apocalypse and all that, but you're going to see millions and millions of and like take the truck driver example. You know, if you're a truck driver right now, you know, God bless them, you need to be thinking right this millisecond, you know, what am I going to be doing within 5 years? Because it probably ain't going to be driving a truck anymore. Okay.
You're right.
Well, but let's not say truck. Let's not say truck. It's actually delivery driver and truck driver. That's the #1 job for males in the United States. That includes your UPS. That includes your UPS driver, your mail delivery driver. Your FedEx
all
guy.
those jobs. Yeah. They're all going away. They're all going away. There's going to be a computer or an AI robot, whatever you want to call it, driving the vehicle. Okay. I mean, within 10 years or less, probably. McDonald's anymore. It'll be totally automated. Okay.
Yeah, or
That's
they might
where it's
just
all
use
going.
drones. Yeah.
Who knows? But my point is, and you guys see it, all the low end jobs, people, the workforce, they, you know, particularly people 50 years old and older. I mean, they gotta.
Think about that, Dan. What are people? What is a guy 40 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, whatever, or a woman? What are they going to go into that's going to guarantee an income? I mean, what do you tell kids going into high school? What are you going to study?
Well, I'll tell you, it's real simple, and they're not going to like it because it's going to involve some rigor and effort and pain in the ass going to school, whether you like school or not. They got to get involved in technology in some way, shape, or form, whether they like it or not, because that's where everything's going. Stuff, even cleaners eventually, people that clean houses in commercial sites for a living. That's going to take a while because robotics and AI, it's going to involve more dexterity and stuff, but eventually, and when they do, all those types of grunt jobs, no disrespect, construction work to a big extent, there's going to be no humans doing it. It's all going to be robotics that can run 80, 100 hours, 120 hours a week without any maintenance or very little maintenance at all. Don't have to go to the bathroom, take a cigarette break, and have benefits. That's where it's going.
Right. Well, they have 3D printers now that can print out and make a lot of things. In fact, I remember seeing in China, they had a 3D printer making buildings.
There you go.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you make a design and you hook it up to your printer and it could make a weapon, it could make a camera, it could make anything theoretically.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this, Dave. Just before I left AT&T, this to you, but a couple of, I don't know if I should say this, but a couple of the operations team, which I helped start actually, back in the day, process and procedures, sent out some emails saying that they're experimenting with software bots. You guys know what software bots are, right? You know, that it's low level, you know, software intelligence that companies are using online. You see more and more for customer service. That's why you have to click on.
That's why you have to click on those captures saying "I am a human."
Exactly. So the bots talk to you and they learn through software. Well, you know, they're starting to do it in the upper end jobs too, the white collar jobs where it's at a low level now. They're using the bot software to automate lower end administrative type tasks that are related to, you know, the upper end jobs. Well, you got to start somewhere. So it starts there small, but make no bones about it. If the company can outsource your ass tomorrow with artificial intelligence, right, where they don't got to pay you bennies and everything else, they're going to do it, even on a high end job. That puts contracts together and involves a certain amount of rational thought and stuff, right? They're going to do it. And, you know, that technology, guys, is basically there, right? Yeah. It's already there.
Well, that's why you have to do your own. That's why you have to do your own gig.
Yes. And why can't the families get together, buy a farm, and go back to the basics?
Well, you're going to see that, Trish. You're going to see that too.
Yeah, like a homestead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
you're going to see communities. Yeah, you are. I agree. You're going to see that out of sheer necessity for the people that either don't want to make the leap that I'm talking about, you know, training wise and educationally, or they're not interested. You're going to see that. So they're going to solve these problems other ways. And that's one way you could solve the problem. You could have, I don't want to get into say communism, but you'll have these communes probably 3 to 5 families that you know live and work together and run the farm and grow the food and then sell locally
Right.
the extra that they don't need to you know to build up some extra dough,
Right.
and stuff like that. You're going to see that.
I
think you're going to see that.
I've already started
Yeah.
that on in my home.
Trish.
I live in a subdivision. I've got just under 2 acres, and it's a
Wow.
subdivision.
Yeah.
I've got my
Wow.
chicken coop set up. I've got my growing area set up. I've got my rabbits. And
What do you use the rabbits for?
they're supposed to
Wow.
be for meat.
Okay, meat.
Yes. But we are set up. I have older neighbors. So, and it's just me and my husband. We don't have any children.
Are you close to Dan and I's Dan's age and my age? I'm 50, Dan's 50, 51 maybe.
Oh, I'm a little older.
Yeah.
I just turned 59.
59. So this is I mean, I almost feel like it's too late for me in some ways.
No, don't look at it that way. See, I've been doing this for years. I've been doing since 2000. I was prepping before 2000.
Right.
I mean,
Well, you've been doing it a while. I mean, but for a 50-year-old guy to start over on doing this,
it's not too late. It's not too late.
No, Dave. Not to interrupt Trish, but let me leave you with this thought, Dave. You know, it may be a little arcane or a little bit dated or whatever, but you know, you guys know KFC, right? Kentucky Fried Chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
right.
You know, the founder, he didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was around 64, right?
Right.
So
right.
you know, so to Trish's point, Dave, I'm 51. Right? I mean, you know, we're not fooling anybody, Dave. We're 50 years old. We're not kids anymore, far from it. We're not even, you know, the reality is we're not young men anymore either. We're not young men.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, to Trish's point, you know, we're not 92 either, Dave, right? I mean,
right.
Mentally and experience-wise, Dave, we're in our prime. Yeah. Because we got a lot of experience now, in a lot of work experience.
Well, I guess what I meant is it's very difficult to keep all these balls in the air, and by taking on another ball, I almost feel like I've got to throw out the old and start over.
Well, let me put it this way. One thing I'm noticing, and maybe Trish, you'll agree or disagree, is the middle class, the classic middle class, and I'm a victim of it too. The classic middle class and poor or low class teach their kids. They teach them to be, you know, and I hate this term and phrase, well balanced. You got to be well balanced. You have to have to all these things, be a mile wide and an inch deep. Okay, that's great. You're a mile wide and an inch deep, but you're a freaking master of nothing. Well, what do the rich tend to do, which is why they're rich? They constantly research and explore and learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they find something that they think is killer, so to speak, they focus like a laser beam, and they don't get distracted, which is what we do in our society. The operative word is distracted. It's so easy to get distracted by 15 things. The problem is then you can never master the one thing that may even be your passion that you might be gifted in and be fantastic in, because you're distracted all the time and you're trying to be well balanced when in fact you should be laser focused, and that might take off.
Well, it's an excellent point, and it's because they have to pay their bills.
Well, that's part of it, but I guess what I'm getting at is that the middle class and the lower class, there's a lot of ignorance and they don't know any better. In the rich know certain principles and exercise those principles, and the lower class aren't doing, and that's obvious through action and success, right?
Well, I don't know about that, Dan.
Be cruel.
I am definitely middle to lower middle class. Okay. And like I
Okay.
said,
I don't know, Trish. Trish, you're very well versed in a lot of things. So maybe you started out that way, but you aren't that way anymore.
Well, you don't strike me with
Well,
that mentality. That's for
that's
sure.
no, that's how I feel, and that's how I am.
And remember, low income is different from low class.
Yeah, and when I say class, guys, I don't mean, yeah, I'm not criticizing people. I should say, and when I said lower class, I meant income levels. That's what I
know.
meant.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
I know.
that's what I meant.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I just wanted to clarify because
exactly.
sometimes
yeah,
it means
yeah.
the same.
Not to say that we're better than anybody or whatever, because we're not. I'm not.
Sure.
That's for sure. But you know what I'm saying?
So Trish, yeah.
Kids, that stuff, and it doesn't, and it, you know, I'll tell you something else the wealthy do. Class in the lower class doesn't do. They teach their kids real early in life about finances and money.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they say
And stuff
never
like that.
never take the principal.
Take the principal.
Well, when you invest, there's the real wealthy will say never take the principal, only take the interest.
Yes, you always take the top.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's
So
like
it-
cryptos
so it's-
too. When you
Yeah.
So
invest in cryptos and you get to a certain point, you want to take your top, skim off your top, and put it back in your wallet.
So in other words, what you're saying is, if I own one share of something, Trish, of the crypto that's worth $1, right? And let's say I own two for argument's sake, right?
Okay, you pay
And
$2 a piece.
I pay $2 each, a total of 4.
All right.
But now it doubles and it goes to 8. So what you're saying is, at that point, I should sell at least one or half to recoup my cost basis, and now I'm playing with the house money.
Right.
Well, you don't win until you sell, right?
Well, but the point is, if something doubles, you want to pull your cost basis out so that if
Right.
if that point goes to 0, you've lost
don't
nothing.
lose.
You're playing
Right.
Correct.
Right.
with the house money, and you've recouped your initial investment at the very least. So you've lost really nothing.
Well, that's how I try to do it.
That's what the pros do anyway. The pro traders, I know that.
So Trish, you were saying before that you came from a lower income background.
Oh yes. Are you
From
kidding?
where were you born?
Michigan.
Oh, you're from Michigan too.
Yes.
A lot of Michigan.
Yeah, no, I
people
could
in
hear the
Florida.
Midwest accent.
And
Yeah, I can hear the Midwest accent.
I worked 2 jobs almost my whole life.
Yep.
I had a full-time job and I had a part-time job.
Wow.
And we had to, though. I mean, you had to pay for your rent, you had to pay for your car payment. And I'm a big believer, from a very young age, I don't believe in car payments.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Hey, I'm with you.
If I can't afford to buy it and pay cash for it, then I need to save more and wait till I can pay it off, because I'm not big on debt like that.
Car payments suck. I agree.
I'm with
Oh,
you.
yes.
I have no debt. It's I steer clear from debt.
The only debt I have left is the house.
Right. Well, that's a normal debt for most people.
Well, hopefully, I'm hoping that the cryptos take off next year to where I can pay it off.
Right on.
And if you guys would like some more information about cryptos and what I'm in, I don't have my book in front of me, so I can't go over them, but I'd be more than happy to share with you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, it's I know the bigger ones, but you know, like Dawei coin and God, there's so many out there that I've looked at, and I look at them and I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, I could put $100 in it and maybe it will shoot to 1,000, but I haven't done it because it involves setting up these individual wallets for all these different people, and I just
we'll talk about this later, but my Ether wallet. Go look at it.
I will.
Just look at it. See if you can work your way through it. If not, we'll catch up again, and I'll help you get through it.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks.
That's
That
awesome.
way you can start getting into some tokens and making some money.
Yeah, that is the one, and I think a lot of people buying the cryptos look at holding something physically as a disadvantage, whereas the people who hold precious metals look at it as an advantage, right?
Oh yes.
It's whichever school that you believe in. Is it an advantage to hold something, or is it a pain in the butt and too much work? Whereas if you just want to trade it, you don't want to hold it. You just want to buy in, hold it a little while, and sell it. And there's a lot of people doing that, I think.
Well, that's my intentions with the cryptos. I plan to dump it as soon as I can and pay off the rest of the house and get out of it. Because
right. So when you reach, so you have a target in mind, what you're waiting for. You're not. See, that's the thing that I think a lot of people either you buy something and you hold it forever or you buy it and say, okay, when I double my money or triple my money or I make 10% or whatever your ROI is,
right,
then you've achieved your objective. And that's where you have to, the difference between bulls and bears, right? Bulls and bears make money, pigs get slaughtered.
That's right. And when I make that when I get to my point, that's when I'm getting out, because I know that I feel that this is the mark of the beast. My husband and I had discussions about this. We debated getting into cryptos for a long time. And then finally, the first of the year, I talked him into letting me do it just so I can make the money and get out.
So do you have a target in mind as far as a date or a price?
Yes, I have a price in mind.
For Bitcoin?
Oh no, Bitcoin. When I first got into cryptos, I had purchased 3 Bitcoins, and they were when I got in, they were at $800.
That's awesome. You've made a killing.
No, I didn't, because what I did was I took the Bitcoins and
You converted them?
Yes, I did. I have a huge portfolio now of different things. Some of them are doing really well, and I have a few that, you're always going to get some bad apples.
Yeah, there's one that I looked at, BitConnect or something like that, where I looked on it, and what they're doing is you're putting your money in, and they're using the money to loan out to people in Thailand.
Don't touch that. Don't touch that.
No, I haven't, because I looked at it and I'm like, so people are using the money you put in to buy cars and motorcycles and mopeds in Thailand. I'm like, Thailand?
It's a scam.
Yeah.
What's a scam?
It's probably a punch. Well, what happens is you put in like $1,000 and they pay you interest on that money, supposedly.
It's a scam.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still, there's a guy online who got into that, and I heard him talking about it, and he's like, yeah, I put in $3,000 and I made $300 in a month. And I'm like, well, is he really?
He probably did, but he probably lost his initial investment.
Right. Well, I think he's still in it now. Why, did it crash?
All those Ponzi schemes are crashing.
Oh, they're crashing now.
Yes, there's so many people talking about it, warning people to, stay out of it. Don't get involved. You're going to lose your money.
Well, Maestro always brings up that JSNP guy. I know who he is because of Maestro mentioned him, but I don't watch his channel, so I don't know what scam he's pulling on, whether it's one of these type of things.
Now, JSNP he's one of the people that are against these scams, and he's warning people to stay away from them.
Oh, so he's not pulling the scam. Okay.
No.
Oh, okay. That's the way it sounded like. Sounded like he was recommending something that was a scam. But again, I didn't go in and follow his channel. I just read the comments on those live streams that we do on the Maestro, and there are a couple of people who said they follow him and they made money on some of his recommendations.
I'm one of them.
Okay. Oh, good. Sounds like he's not as bad as what other people were saying.
He's not. The only time I had a problem with him is when he came down and started crushing Lynette Zhang.
Oh, he was doing that too?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Well,
And
she's
I
really
think,
come on strong, yeah.
yeah, but you know, she's got more life experience than him, so he should have, I think, kept his mouth shut and let her ride.
Well, I don't understand. You see, that's something that I've never understood, Trish, is was it you who were saying that you follow Trevor James as well? The Food
No.
Ranger? Okay,
Oh
somebody
yes,
else.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when I met with
Ranger.
yeah, no, it's a kid
I love him.
yeah, it's a kid I met in China when he only had like 2,000 subscribers. And
I
I
love
told
that man.
yeah, he's a nice guy. And I told him, I said, you know, the thing I like about YouTube, Trevor, is that even if, you know, this is something that can be win-win. I mean, nobody has to lose. I mean, I can help you, you can help me, I can help somebody else. And there's no skin. I mean, and if you put your ego aside, this doesn't cost you anything to do that. And that's what I like. That's what I like about it. So there would be, unless somebody personally did me wrong and I wanted to warn people, that's the only time I'd really make a negative statement. In fact, I think there's really only one negative video, and that's me warning people about Spirit Airlines. But I mean, Lynette Zhang, why would I, even if I disagreed with her, why would I, or even this SGM guy who has been like sending people nasty grams, why would I even mention them? Right? I mean,
right.
just ignore them.
Right.
So
well, I just found it really disrespectful for Joe to dump on Lynette because, like I said, she's got the experience behind her, and I'm old school. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
And his manners need to be worked on, I think.
Yeah, and I think that they were all jumping on a bandwagon because remember the Andy Hoffman interview where he went bananas on her as well?
Oh my gosh, I know.
I was watching that video and I was like, this guy, something bad happened today.
Oh yes.
Something bad happened.
He went over the bridge.
Yeah, and it sounded like based on what we know now, it sounded like he was having a bad day or a bad week because he's now on his own.
Yeah. And I used to watch Andy a lot because he was big on silver and gold.
Right.
And
yeah. He just announced on I think I forget the name of the guy. I can see his face. I'm subscribed to his channel, but he just did a final sayonara to silver and gold. Did you see that video?
I seen it, but I didn't go through the whole thing because I'm not really happy with Andy. He's, like I said, he's gone off the deep end.
Well, I watch most of my videos in double speed. It gets me through them faster. So now, you know what happens now is I'm actually pretty good at listening to double speed. It's like learning Chinese, right? And so now it's when I listen to normal conversations, I'm like, come on, pick it up, let's go.
Dan, are you okay?
Did we lose him?
I don't know.
Dan, you have to plug your computer in. Make sure it's charged.
It's plugged in.
Okay.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he froze.
Yeah.
We thought you were doing the Vogue.
I'm sure I got a network fart. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm probably going to see the Maestro on my trip down to Florida. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a live stream.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a live stream. So, yeah, it's if I make it down, we'll see. I'm supposed to get on the road. I've got a meeting in a little bit, and then from there I'm going to hit the road. So it's so now I understand how to do these hangouts, which is a little bit easier to do it. Right? I mean, it's crazy. The way that Google tells you to do it doesn't work.
Well, as long as you're on Google.
Yeah.
I didn't have any problem once I went on to Google.
Yeah, no, I mean as far as the link that I was sending.
Well, that
wasn't
one link
working for people.
That
the last one did.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the last one. Yeah. So that's it. So but you know, I was watching something last night. I think people are finally realizing that, you know, Trump isn't going to fix everything, and that it starts really in the home and the family. And even if we get government, see, because that's what's happened is government has replaced the family for many families, and
Yes.
it's going to take
Absolutely.
it's going to take generations to fix this if it's fixable at all.
I agree.
I agree with everything you just said, Dave. Spot on. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I like going to, you know, some of these other countries, because, you know, every country has its problems, but
Of course.
you know, at least the value, you know, at least, like, I mean, you buy a house in New England, I mean, you pay through the nose, you know, everything costs more, everything costs. Dan, you know, when you moved up here from the Carolinas, I mean, it was like,
Oh,
oh my God, we're going back there.
it's like a punch. It's like a punch in the head.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. And it's almost like if you're going to live in the U.S., I mean, I looked at Florida, Trish, but Florida, when I was looking at it about 10 years ago, it's such a transient state. And where I was looking, it just, the people were pretty rough. Where I was looking down in the Naples area, and I mean, not the $1 million areas, but I was looking at some homes after they had the crash in 2007, I think, or 2008, whenever that was. And I was going around with a realtor, and there are these roach box homes, just these almost like trailers on
Right.
cinder blocks, and they're like selling them for $400,000, and I'm like, really?
Those are called shoebox.
Shoebox. And he's like, yeah, this is a bargain. He said these are like $750,000 last year. I'm like, they've got to drop another $300,000 before I'd even consider buying them.
You mean 400,000?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because the land is worth nothing, because it's the yards down there. It's scrub brush. You can't even have a normal lawn.
Sure.
So it's but to each their own. I mean, that's why I'm going the, you know, the RV route instead, because it at least allows me to travel in a little bit more comfort than the back of a station wagon.
Oh, that's the way to go.
You know. So anybody else have anything to say? So, yeah.
No, I'm good.
I mean, we covered a lot of topics, so we'll have to pick it up again another time. And Dan, we'll have to talk more about government and God.
We need God back into the government.
Yeah, I forget who was it Brian who was telling the story that he was in class when he was in one day, and then he came in the other day, and they had taken down the picture. Yeah,
yes.
It was him. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
They took down the picture of what?
I think God, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because they used to have a picture of God, and when they do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then there was some liberals, or I don't even like to call them liberals. I call them regressives. They like to go backwards. You know, it's like I mean,
regressives.
I don't know. I mean, it's like Christmas time. I make a point to make sure I say Merry Christmas.
I do too, to everybody. Grocery store people, everybody I see.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? What a gall.
My friends who are Jewish, they don't get offended, believe it or not.
Well, they shouldn't get offended.
Good. Yeah, I mean,
we have the right to wish people Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's there's an African one too, Kwana, or is it Kwana? Happy Kwana, or
Yep.
Yeah, right around Christmas. Yeah, it's yeah, I saw online there was somebody who was offended. And that's the thing in our country is everybody seems to be so darn sensitive about things. Oh yeah. It's in one of my book of answers, it's like they see a word and they have to look into how that word is offensive instead of not really real, you know, the person probably didn't even mean to be. When I say Merry Christmas, or if I said whatever, it wasn't just to insult somebody or to ostracize anybody.
Of course not.
It's more of just how.
You
But now,
feel.
yeah, now today it's you have to be. Well, you can't say that because you might offend somebody. Pretty soon we're not going to be able to say anything.
Now, see, I'm not on that mindset. I'm still going to say what I want to say.
Well, me too.
I,
Like I called somebody retarded, and I didn't know that it was not proper to call people retarded anymore.
Oh, yeah, that definitely
I was like,
in this day and age, yeah.
And I was like, well, what the hell do I call them? Mentally challenged? And no,
well, okay.
Yeah, there was another word. I think they wanted. I was like mongoloid, and that sent them even made them even crazier. Because I couldn't figure out what they wanted me to call this person. I mean, what do I say?
Politically correct, Dave.
Huh?
Yeah, well, Dave, you got to understand though too. And here's the thing, Trish. You're from the Midwest, so when we were growing up as kids, 15 years old, kids would call each other those names. You know how kids can be, right?
Yes.
But joking around, like what are you, retarded? You don't understand that?
I know.
But
yes.
the thing is, Dave, using that, and I'm not faulting you, by the way, Dave. I by no means am pointing the finger or faulting you, but you're using that euphemism, which I know to be harmless, but
yes.
But you got to understand, particularly if you're in a different region where they're not familiar with that euphemism, if you will, they could definitely take that as insulting. And in this climate that we're in,
Dan, this is America.
Trish, I agree with you, but we're in a climate, guys. Come on, that you say the slightest thing, especially with the libs or whatever you want to call them, the regressives. I mean, they're going to be down your throat, okay, quicker than you can blink, and you know that, guys.
Oh,
but what I'm
that.
saying is, even if I heard somebody say something like that, maybe it's because I don't have a retarded kid, but I'm not sure, unless it was directed at me, I wouldn't automatically take it as an insult. I wouldn't put up my defenses. Now, if somebody came at me and came on and left me a message saying, you're a real effing scumbag, then I would basically say, okay, well, that obviously is directed at me, and I delete it, right?
Right.
That one's an easy one. But if somebody if somebody in a conversation yeah, this kid was retarded, I wouldn't just be like, oh my God, did you hear that person?
Right.
Dave, dude, I agree with you. I'm just saying, but you guys got to give me the point that.
No, I do. That's what I said 5 minutes ago. Is everybody? That's one reason. This is one reason why I do not participate in social media, because all I use it for is I post my work stuff on there, and I post the DavidisDawei stuff there, and then I'm gone. So unless I get a message, I don't go in reviewing what people are writing, because I'll catch some comments. Like when I go in and post, I'll notice like what's on the page, and I'll start reading it, and my blood will start. You'd be like, oh my God, what? It's such a waste of energy.
Yes. It'll make you stupid.
It will make you stupid, absolutely. And a long time ago, about when Facebook first came out, I was driving on the car and I was listening to talk radio, and there was a psychologist or whatever his profession was, and he said, in his opinion, he was one of these mental doctors, and he said that in his opinion, it was a form of narcissism. He said using Facebook and these other social media is almost like looking in the mirror and saying, aren't I special?
Mm.
Yeah. And, well, think about it. Why do you need to post every 3 minutes what the hell you're doing and what you're up to? I went to the bathroom. I did this. I did that. I have so many friends.
But Dan, you had a ham sandwich.
I'm eating a sandwich right now. Aren't I interesting? It's like, no, you're not, okay? I'm brushing my teeth and improving my smile.
Here's me in my bathroom, and I forgot to flush the toilet.
Exactly.
Well, they have those.
But it's the truth.
They have those, yeah. They have those. I've seen those online where these hot girls, they think they're so gorgeous, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's ridiculous. It's a form of narcissism.
that's one reason why I travel. It's my form of escaping, to be honest with you. It's just, to be quite honest with you, I haven't made a decision where I'm going and what I'm going to do, but I know that I can't stand still, if you know what I mean. I've got to go.
Right.
Because staying right here where I am, I come back here, I do what I have to do, and then I'm gone again. And it's just because I feel like I'm going to have a foot come down and kill me if I stay here long enough.
Right.
It's just,
Right.
I don't know how to explain it, but I listen to my instincts, and when my instincts say you got to go, I go.
Oh, definitely. Go with your gut always.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I finally got into cryptos, because, you know, Trish, I was earning 1% on my long-term savings.
Mm-hmm.
Joe.
And, and silver and gold were getting crushed, and the stock market, I sold out of the stock market. So I was missing that. And I'm thinking to myself, everything that I'm in is getting zapped.
Right.
Everything. And I said, so what do I have to lose by speculating a few $1,000 into cryptos?
Exactly.
Nothing, in my layman opinion. Nothing. You'd be silly if you didn't, I think.
And that's why I'd like to share with you guys what I'm in at some point, so we can discuss this.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. And
everybody needs to make money. Dan, are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm listening to you.
You tired?
Yeah, I'm always tired. Don't mind me.
Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, hey, Eric. Did you see the package back?
I'm just scratching my eyes, and I'm multitasking as usual.
Oh, you're straining your eyes.
Oh yeah. I'm reading emails.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You know, responding to jobs. Blah blah blah.
Oh.
Yep.
So you're working while you're entertaining yourself.
You got it.
Sorry, guys. Well, that's it. Hey, thanks for joining me on this live stream, guys. I would love to do it again. If I'm not sure how successful I'll be on finding a fast internet signal, but I definitely would like to find out more. To be quite honest with you, Trish, maybe I'll buy a portion of a Bitcoin, but I'm not going to put $8,000 or even $7,000 into Bitcoin right now.
No. I know.
But I mean, I might put the $1,000.
But only wait till it comes down again if you're going to do it. But my suggestion also would be to get into the other tokens.
Yeah, which tokens are you, when you say the top of the list? I mean, the top of the list, if I remember correctly, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash.
No, I wouldn't do Bitcoin Cash.
No, I'm going off the list that are the top money holders.
I would only have a little piece, because I only have a little piece left in Bitcoin. Yeah. I have some in Ethereum, because you need Ethereum for the gas.
Well, I have 5 Ethereum.
And then Litecoin. Okay, those are the three basics. Those are the three basics. And then I would get into Omisigo, which is OMG.
Yeah, I've heard people that shot up recently, didn't it? Like 5 times, 8 times.
I'm not sure where it's at right now.
Yeah, it's still affordable, but it shot up from like pennies up to like $1 or something like that.
Yes. And then there's Pillar, there's Veritasium, there's a handful. There's only a handful that I'm into.
Well, would you do me a favor? You have my email address, right?
Yes.
Yeah, when you get a chance, no rush, because I'm going to be traveling the next couple of days. Would you send me an email with the ones that you recommend me look into?
Sure.
Yeah, and I'll look into it. Yeah, I'd like to.
You can pass them on to Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll pass them on to Dan. Yeah, because I've looked into so many of them, Trish, and I'm reading it like that BitConnect, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, I know it's a speculation, but I just don't like the looks of this.
It's a scam.
Like the Dogecoin is some Japan coin.
Now,
And I was reading that, and I can't figure out how the heck that thing is. Unless people gamble it up, I don't see the value in it.
Right. No, stay away from the dogs.
The dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
is you have to be. To her point, there's over 1,000 cryptos at this point, maybe more. Who knows? You know, I think there's a lot of to do well, but at the same time, you've got to be discerning and do your homework. You just don't blindly jump into any of them, right?
Exactly.
Well, Dan, I hear you, but I mean, how most people aren't even going to know what to do for homework.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I mean, when you invest in Bitcoin, how much can you really learn about that?
The only thing you need to learn about Bitcoin is that it's gold. It's technically paper gold, or not even paper gold. It's air gold. Just like Litecoin is silver. You know, it's silver.
Well, I look at Bitcoin as having value because, like I said before, I consider it the Coke.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the whatever you think of. You know, in every industry, you can think of 2 or 3 major names, and everybody else. What's funny is if you look at whether it's beer or soda or cars, you know, like the top 2 or 3 guys make up a majority of it, and usually everybody else equals what the top 3 are doing.
Right.
So, you know, Pepsi, Coke, and whoever, you know, Toyota, you know, Ford, whatever, Mercedes, whatever the top are.
And that would be Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum.
Right. And which is why Coinbase has them, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
But you can also get them on my Ether wallet, which, you know, we'll discuss further.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the other thing is what percentage of people feel comfortable investing in. And if people have this is what I've been trying to tell Brian, Trish, is I told him, I said, Brian, take $100.
Right.
At least you'll get something out of it. And if you lose, but he's convinced himself that it is so immoral to buy it. And I say to him, I'm like, what's the difference between buying this, making money for your family, versus investing in any ETF or stock?
Right.
All right. Well, let me put it this way. He makes it's immoral. Okay. On one hand, it could be, but on the other hand, like the good book says, you know, you can take something, to paraphrase, and use it for good as well, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
It's a double-edged sword. It's like the hammer. I can build a house, or I could kill somebody with it as well. I prefer to build a house to help someone.
Certainly.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to use
same thing with any tool. Absolutely.
With any tool. You know, same thing and we don't have time for it now, but same thing with the gun controversy in this country. A gun, to me, a firearm, whatever you want to call it, like any other tool. I can use it for fun, sportsmanship, target shooting, or hunting, basic
defense.
Or I could use it as self-defense, or I could use it as a lethal weapon to go kill somebody.
Right.
Well, I prefer not to do that, obviously.
I'm a firm believer in everybody should own a gun.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
If you're going to be in the United States, you need to have one.
Yes.
Guns in and of themselves are not to fear. I fear whose hands it's in.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it. When's the last time somebody went into a NASCAR race and shot the place up?
Yeah. Oh, now you're giving them food for thought.
Well, good luck. They might get a couple people, but they'll be shot dead faster than you can say goodbye.
That's true too.
Oh yeah. Some of our good old boy brethren. Oh yeah, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, and I think that schools, I mean, if you're going to have, I mean, personally, I think that with the way technology is today, I think it's time to get rid of the brick and mortar education system. I mean, that's where you end up spending all your money.
Oh, don't get me started on those schools. I don't know if you know this, but we don't have any children. I don't know if you have any children, but
I do not, but Dan does.
They have
I do.
taken out cursive. They don't teach that in school no more.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't know that. My neighbor
Really?
told me that.
I didn't know that.
Well, that might be like a regional thing, because that's
know-
that's where, schools. If we're going to have schools, then I think people. That's where homeschooling comes in. I mean, people should be responsible for learning themselves, like we were talking about at the beginning, because that's the only way that you can, make changes when you need to, right? If you rely on everybody else to teach you
I
and
know,
train you,
but that is one thing that
like
should.
that kid Ian. Yep.
Yeah, that's one thing that should be in the school, though. How are they going to be able to read the what do you call that?
The Declaration of Independence.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
Or the Constitution.
they won't be
Yeah,
able to read it.
well, guys, I don't want to bum you out, but again, we don't have time for it. It's another topic, but mark of the beast, globalism, which is
Yes.
the direction
Yes,
in general the world's heading.
yes,
If globalism succeeds, and what I mean by succeed is it also involves and envelops the United States. You're not going to have to worry about the kids reading the Constitution and being familiar with it in the Bill of Rights, because it ain't gonna pertain anymore if we go full
Right.
globalism.
it's going to be gone.
You can throw your Constitution out, because you'll be giving it over to a world court system, basically.
Well, I don't even think that they want. I mean, right now we have 7 to 8 billion people. Once we get technology to the point where robots and technology can do these jobs, think about this. If you were like a Rothschild, who are probably some of the richest people on earth, and then there are other people like them in China and other countries, when you look at the rest of us, you see somebody breathing air, using the oil, using, the food, creating more pollution. Like in the like Maine has more people on welfare than in the workforce. And that's probably similar in other places in the United States. So when you look around the world and see how many people, and I'm not talking, we'll get into the sanctity of life, but if you're just put that aside, where it's almost like a Spartan philosophy, where if you are not contributing, then you don't belong. And that's what I think is going to have happen, is I think that one of these viruses gets out and all of a sudden people won't be able to have children anymore. And then within 50, 60 years, the people who don't have an virus.
Immune system, yes.
Right. Then basically they're not having the kids. So I think it's quite possible that the world population could drop down to 100 million people if they wanted it to within 100 years.
Oh, well, I'm hoping we have a revolution before any of that stuff happens, so we can take out these elites.
Good luck identifying them. We're even getting to them, because the problem is so many people. Look at how many people work for the government today. If you look at local, state, federal, I'll bet you, I don't know, probably 30% of the people in this country work for the government, maybe more.
More, yes.
Yeah,
more.
maybe half.
Mm-hmm.
When you add firemen, police, teachers, government workers, military, think of all the things that government does today. It employs people. So all of a sudden, what would we do with all these people if they weren't collecting a government paycheck?
Well, I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that, unfortunately, I don't think man knows how to regulate himself. Man is a very greedy creature.
That's a shame.
Yeah, and I mean, let's face it. I mean, like I go to China and I go to Mexico and I go to some of these countries, and there's no real regulation about things, and you can see that there's trash everywhere, there's pollution, and in just 40 years ago, the United States was like that. I mean, I'm old enough to remember, the commercials on Smokey. Remember the Indian, when the Indian was crying, when people.
Yes.
That was a very powerful ad, and somebody
Yes.
threw garbage at his feet.
Yes.
And companies were. Yeah. I mean, Monsanto is notorious, and there was the one in Woburn there, Dan, who was polluting. They were dumping the waste. They're now out of business, and they killed all those kids in India. The chemical company there. Oh my God! But they were dumping the, huh? Gracie, W.R. Grace or something like that. And they and they were dumping waste in Woburn, which is a suburb of Boston, and all these kids were getting these rare types of cancers, and they found out that their homes were built on top of all these chemicals.
Oh my gosh.
And they killed hundreds, I think. So
well, that's like that water in Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, with the yeah. Right. So the problem is, Dan, it comes back to what we talked before. And I just had a debate with my nephew on this. Our country has forgotten the words fiduciary responsibility. Everybody sells down their oath as soon as it means a couple bucks in their pocket.
100%. Yeah. It's we're in a society now, and maybe you don't agree. I can tell you there's probably a lot of people that would debate me, but the fiduciary sense of trust basically went out with, plus or minus, in my opinion, the World War II generation, pretty much, plus or minus. So right after World War II, we were the only ones standing on the block, so to speak, for the most part. And if you read some of Peter Drucker's papers, he's old school now, the management genius, which he is, he talks about that the
bully on the block.
Yeah, we've been a world superpower for the last 60, 80 years or whatever, 100 maybe, but particularly after World War II, because it was real simple. I mean, we were the only ones standing. Everybody else was crushed, right? Mm-hmm. So, delusions of grandeur, right? So, but that generation did have a fiduciary sense of trust, I think you can argue, because what happened during World War II for 4 years, not just the soldiers abroad, but everybody back home as well, sacrificed. Nobody does that anymore. We've been fighting wars for 2 decades now, right, guys? Right. Nobody sacrifices. Your leaders tell you to go out and have a good Christmas and go buy stuff at the mall, like George Bush said a decade ago.
Right.
When we were fighting, losing soldiers every other day. He's like, go to the mall and shop. How's that sacrifice? It's not.
Well, and it starts with going back to even Jefferson. When Jefferson said, if you tell me whether it's more important to have government or independent media, for lack of a better word, where investigative media, he said give me the media, because that's more important than a government. And you can argue that pillar is the most corrupt of all, because that's why nobody has good information. There's no investigative journalism that amounts to anything anymore unless it's a purge on somebody.
Right, unless they're trying to really dig up dirt and use it against them.
But if we really knew what happened in this country, there probably would be a revolution.
Oh, you know it.
Starting back to, I mean, it goes all the way back in our history. I mean, I hope that Trump does get rid of the Fed, and I hope that we can narrow down who's behind some of these recent events. Let's not worry about, I mean, even going back to JFK, that's 50 years now. But I mean, what happened in Las Vegas and what happened in New York on 9/11? I mean, these are recent enough where people should care.
Can we look at George Soros?
Open a can of worms.
Yeah, I've read about him. I've read some biographies on him, and I don't understand how he gets away with all of this stuff, to be honest with you, because his fingerprints are on them.
I know it.
Well,
and why
it's called when you're a multi-billionaire, you can pull the strings you want. It's that simple.
I mean, he should go down for the war crimes that he committed.
He's done a lot of, but I mean, I had a debate. One of my nephews, his lifelong goal is to go to work for Goldman Sachs.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Well, he's a young kid, and I tried to tell him, and I brought up the whole thing with fiduciary responsibility, and he's telling me that if it wasn't for Goldman Sachs, this country would fall apart, and this.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm explaining to him that they're the reason we're so messed up today. They're a big part of the reason.
Yes.
And I'm not sure I got through. Maybe I did. Time will tell. But but let's face it. I mean, money talks, BS walks, right? So
Oh my gosh.
money controls everything. In our society, everything is about money today.
Big time.
I got to be honest with you. I mean, I worry a little bit because I don't go out and try to make every possible dollar that I can, because it would mean sacrificing my time and effort, and that I'm never going to get back. To me, my time is my most valuable thing, and so I try to maximize that. But I do worry that, you know, that I'm not more focused on doing things just for money, because money is necessary.
Right. It's the root of all evil.
No, the love of
Oh,
money is the root of all evil. The
yeah.
love of money. And that's, I do like having money, but that's one reason why I try to do what I do for myself. It's a challenge to myself to, you know, can I do this without a luxury item? Like what I was talking to Ian at the beginning, it's a question of wants and needs. Instead of buying everything that I want, just try to stick with the things that I absolutely need.
Sure.
So, yeah. Yeah, we could go on all day. It's but as I've said to Brian before, or the maestro on it, I mean, is there anything, and this is where I'll leave my last question, is there ever going to be anything that finally gets people off their couches to where they're ready to go out in the street and demand change? I mean, ready to put their own lives on the line to finally say, I'm a little worried about how the system may collapse, and I'm worried how that will happen. But at this point, we've got nothing to lose. And
go ahead.
Good.
no, I was going to say, in my opinion, people are too comfortable in this country. I don't think they're ever going to reach that point, because they can still watch their Dancing with Stars. They can get a hamburger and they can watch their football, I guess.
Well, that's
a bottle of wine.
I think that's a number one problem we have in our society.
Agreed.
I think everybody in America should throw away their television. I don't
have a TV.
I don't either. I don't either.
I don't have one. Yep.
Yeah. Well. Good luck with that, Trish. And I couldn't agree with you more. But you know, let me put it this way.
I tried telling my cousins that we were at my uncle's funeral. And my cousins were talking, and I said, you guys, I was listening to them, and they sounded like these drones. And I was like, you guys should really get rid of your TVs. And they went, get rid of my TV? What would I do with myself? And I was like, really?
Read a book? Read a book?
Well, that's the first one, yeah. There's a lot of things to do. I mean,
go take a walk.
Even kids today, can't get rid of their phones, right?
I don't know, Trish. You don't sound too ignorant to me.
Well, I don't own a cell phone, but I do have I take that back. I have a throwaway cell phone, and the only reason why
emergencies.
Yeah. Well, no. The only reason why I have that is because I had to have a phone number for Coinbase.
Yep, you do. Oh. That's right.
You have to have a cell phone or a landline?
No, cell phone.
Oh, so they can send you text messages?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I only turn it on when I go to Coinbase. I turn it on. That's the only time I use it.
Yeah. I have like those authenticators on the phones as well.
What are those?
It's a safety feature where it's one of several step procedure where it sends you, like the Google Authenticator. It's a continual code.
Oh.
And it constantly sends codes, and if you don't match up to the code to the time that you get it, it won't work. So it's a safety feature. So, you know, a lot of them will send you an email, but now you have to have this thing go to your phone as well. So it's a double authentication.
Extra security.
Yes. Yeah. You look it up. It's called Google Authenticator. It is Google. So if you're anti-Google, like there's a guy who used to subscribe to me, and he told me that he now communicates with me through Twitter or in Facebook, but he gave up all Google. And I said to him, well, they're all equally bad in my opinion.
They are. I'm not on Facebook, and I don't do any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I just do it because I didn't do it for the longest time, but I think I said this in one of my discussions. I made the decision when I was deciding what to do with my channel. I finally made the decision earlier this year. I was going to go forward with it rather than just post videos. I was going to try to turn it into the David Dawei concept. And so that's when I started signing back up to those things and putting the stuff on those things. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. I don't spend any time there otherwise. Yeah.
This is my first time talking to anybody this way.
Yeah, it's a fantastic platform. First time I ever did that. Yeah, first time I had done this with Dan using Skype, but I'd never used the Google Hangouts. And then I was in Hong Kong that time with Brian, the maestro.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Wait,
maybe, Hong Kong?
Yeah, from Hong Kong.
Were you in the shower?
Yeah, people. Well, what happened? It's so hot there. I basically walk around in my underwear. So yeah. I didn't have a shirt on.
And I'm the one that told you to get a shirt on.
Oh, okay, all right. Nice. Yeah, so nice, I did put a shirt. Nice. Well, I didn't even remember that I was in a shirt. I didn't know it would capture me that way, for crying out loud.
Right.
So, but the room's tiny. Yeah, the shower was in back of me.
Yes.
Yeah, there's just a glass divider.
Were you wearing your?
Yes, my chaps.
Wearing your adult diaper again, Dave?
My what? I didn't hear you.
Your adult diaper.
My salt and pepper.
Your adult. You know how the crazy things, you got adult diapers now and stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, thank God. If I ever need those, Dan, just shoot me with a shotgun.
God Almighty! But I know there's people that are into that stuff, and I don't want to get into this anymore.
No, I don't think Trish would appreciate it.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, sorry, I'll shut up. Sorry.
Oh, okay. You're fine, Dan.
Yeah. Yep. So unless you want to do one of your signature moves, Dan.
No, I don't think so. I
Thank you, Dan.
Have the dexterity anymore. That's gone.
Hey, well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll have to do this again. You're good people.
Yes, and I hope you get Brian on.
I will mention that to him. He told me to try to get there over the weekend when he has time, because during this week at school. But I told him, I said, well, I can't even think that far ahead. I've got too many stops in between, and I don't know what's going to happen. So
make the time.
Yeah, for at least 10. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
All right, Trish. Thank you. Dano, good talking to you. And we'll have to do it again, folks. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Bye now.